Yeah. Welcome, Aris Jabin.
David.
And Aris Wangade currently teaching at Center for Political Studies, School of Social Science, Jawaharlal Nehru University. And he also did MA and Phil and PhD in the same university. And he is one of the very regular contributor in news, many newspapers, and also continuously, consistently reflecting and intervening pertinent issues of Dalit and also more emphatically cinema and Indian cinema and also Tamil cinema because he's a very good follower of Tamil cinema as well. And not only Tamil cinema but South Indian cinema. And he has been invited many university abroad and he has excellent understanding of both Tamil cinema and particularly his write-up on the Sarpata film and Facebook was very intriguing. So that is wonderful, and we should listen to Haris Wangade because he has a very good nuance, detail of how culture and cinema and cultural artifacts intertwine in terms of mobilizing people for emancipatory politics. So it was appropriate, and I also thank Aris for accepting in a short notice to be with us. Aris, please.
Thank you very much. I think it was a very warm welcome. And from my side, a revolutionary Jai Bhim to all of you. And I really feeling like kind of, it's such a pleasure to be part of such a wonderful meeting. And the meeting is basically to celebrate an awesome film that has recently released, Sarpata Parambara. And the way Professor Lakshmanan also kind of introduced that film, that it is not just a normal, regular, entertaining film, but it has deep political sense in that. I think that way of dealing with cinema, with to any artifact for that matter, I think that is very crucial. And this is the way probably I will also deal with the kind of theme that is given to me. Now, first of all, the way we see the Dalit characters in cinema in general, like I mostly study Hindi cinema, and of course there is growing interest in the South Indian film industry now. But if you see the normal, and Professor Lakshman also mentioned that earlier, that the earlier version of the Dalit characters in Hindi cinema, they were mostly shown as a wretched beings, or poor, or victim, or some kind of a dependent people on the upper caste benevolence. We will not find that what we in political science called a political agency of the people. They were mostly dependent poor beings that are often been shown in Hindi cinema at the earlier times. Like the earlier films, like even in 40s and 50s and 60s, whenever Dalit characters emerge very less in time, but even if they emerge, they are mostly shown within feminine character. Like the earlier three films that I can mention today, Achut Kanya in 1931, then Sujata, and Ganga Jamuna. These three films where there are female characters, Dalit female characters, you'll find that they were mostly dependent upon the virtues of the upper caste people, and they do not have that kind of a capacity to kind of turn the debate on their favor. They were continuously seen as dependent beings. But of course, 1970s films, mostly what we call the parallel cinema within Hindi, the caste question become absolutely prominent. Mostly films by Prakash Jha or Govind Dilani or Shyam Benegal, these directors surely engage with the caste question in a very sincere way. And films like Damul, Nishant, Par, Gid, Disha, all these films will find that the feudal village culture was shown in an extremely realistic way and shown how the Dalit exploitation take place. But there was also kind of a critique of this narrative in the sense that 70s and 80s was also a time when across country, the Dalit politics or Dalit mobilization or Dalit social movement was grooming in a very significant way. Like Maharashtra, Mumbai, where these films were made, Dalit Panthers movement was absolutely powerful, and it was kind of almost what you call dominating the local politics in Mumbai. But you'll find that in 70s, the cinema which was reflecting on the caste question, there the Dalit political question was almost absent. There was no mentioning of the Dalit Panthers or DS4 for that matter, or the Republican Party of India, which was a very prominent party in Maharashtra. You'll find that Dalit question was significantly absent. And what we see in on screen is basically the poor and terrible conditions of the people who are basically working within the feudal order. The change what we see is, of course, the post-globalization period. Post-globalization period, you will find that at least in Hindi cinema, there were through multiple ways, there is an emergence of what we called a Dalit hero. Like the earlier film, almost like 2003, Arakshan was made, in which Saif Ali Khan played the character of a Dalit boy who is educated and wanted to get a job, and a very promising Dalit hero. And later on, of course, in many other films like Guddu Rangila, Manjhi, recently, Masan, Newton, Soncharia, and very recently, Madam Chief Minister, you'll find that the Dalit characters are now entering as a lead protagonist, as a lead hero, as a main character. And the story revolves around what we call the modern middle class aspirations of the Dalit people, and how they are basically struggling to achieve that. So this is a significant development that has been visualized within the Hindi cinema. But if you compare that with the Tamil cinema, I think the lot more things have to learn from this particular development that is there within the Tamil cinema. Hindi cinema is still very poor in quality. The larger concern and stories are mostly what you call very banal and insignificant in nature, and the political content is clearly absent in Hindi cinema per now. And therefore, when we see these three major directors in Tamil Nadu today, Paranjit, of course, a revolutionary director, B. Selvaraj, and Vetrimaran. The films by these three directors, I think, have changed the discourse of cinema in a very, very significant and substantive manner. Kabali, of course, before Kabali, Madras, Kala. These three films almost set what they called I called it the arrival of a mainstream hero. That the mainstream hero was always seen as a person who can take bigger challenges and accept those kind of a violent posturing and defeat the enemy with that kind of a gutsy and superior heroic qualities. Kabali presented such similar kind of an hero. That is a space which was never allowed for a Dalit person to imagine himself as a hero, as a mainstream capable person who can challenge and torment the corrupt villain with his strong fist. That possibility was never there. We have never seen that a Dalit person can emerge with such a powerful attire. And I think Kabali did that kind of extraordinary role and presented, I think, one of the first Dalit superhero to Indian cinema. And Kala, of course, kind of continued with that particular thing. Later on, of course, in Periyaram Perumal or Karnan, or later Asuran, I think this film somewhere created a genre in the sense of a model, like we have action genres or love stories. I think there is a possibility to think a new Dalit genre in Indian cinema now, where the issues and concerns and interests and identities of the Dalits can be represented in a very, very significant and imaginative way. And these three directors absolutely created what you call a foundation on which a new Dalit genre can emerge, almost similar to the black cinema in Hollywood for that matter. It has an independent historical virtue now that they have, the way they have created a parallel movement or parallel cinema in Hollywood. I think the possibilities are already been explored by these three filmmakers, and there is already a foundation available on which we can imagine a Dalit Bahujan alternative model of cinema and art making. And therefore, Sarpatta is extremely important film in this particular scale. But before going into to kind of a small review on Sarpatta, let me also suggest that the earlier films, like the 4 or 5 or 6 Tamil films that has been produced earlier and appreciated by the critiques and general masses in a very significant manner, you'll find that there is a kind of a dominant theme or a theme that kind of connect all these films. And that film is, of course, what you call a violent justice, that the heroes of these films are mostly connected to the idea of a violent act, to idea of a revolutionary violence, in the sense that when we do that kind of violence, it justifies the action of the hero. So we'll find that this film somewhere produce or promote a hero which has some kind of a heroic, machoistic, violent tendencies, because of which there is a possibility that because of that violent act, he can secure justice. So Kala and Kabali, the underlying theme was, of course, a very machoistic, violent hero who can defeat the villain with his powerful fist, with his power and charisma. And there is also a kind of underlining theme called the revenge and dignity. Like in Kabali, it's a revenge story. In Karnan, again, there is a kind of a revenge drama which is going on. And Asuran, of course, the lead character wants to protect his own family, and therefore he become a violent hero. So somewhere revenge, violence, that kind of a male machoism was one of the major theme of all these films that we have seen earlier. And somewhere it creates the aura of a hero. Like, I mean, Tamil cinema, or even for the Hindi cinema, the mainstream hero is like that. So somewhere but that space was not available to the Dalit characters for a very, very long time. The mainstream hero space was mostly dominated by the non-Dalits, even in Hindi or in Tamil cinema. And therefore, this arrival of a heroic, virtuous character who can challenge and topple and defeat the villain with his physical might. That idea in itself is a very, very fantastic idea, and it is kind of changing and tarnish, kind of defeating the larger hegemony of the non-Dalits, or that idea of a hero. Hero is basically non-Dalits till very recent time, till the arrival of Kabali and Kala. But while saying this, so somewhere there is also kind of a burden on the Dalit character. There is a Dalit hero character where they have to justify their action only through a violent theme. And therefore, violence is a subtext of most of our films, whether social violence, social burden, or the response to that burden, to that social violence through a physical violence, which the Dalit hero is doing. Probably Sarpatta is not doing that, and that is the most magical thing of Sarpatta today. Sarpatta is not a revenge drama. Sarpatta is not a violent film. It's absolutely a sports film. Boxing is a sport film. Of course, the game of boxing, the performance of the boxing showcase that it's a game for male machoism. It's a violent game, but it's at the end, it's a game. it's a sport, and that therefore this particular film is significant. You will not find that the main lead, Kabilan, is not kind of burdened by the social pressures. He is not seen as a person who wants to take revenge in that particular theme. He is not kind of a poor or wretched being who wants to elevate his own position. What we see in Kabilan is the deep passion and commitment for the game, for that particular ring, that the boxing ring, and he wanted to emerge as a boxer. He loved that game, and that particular film is nothing but the possibility that once you allow us the opportunity to enter into that ring, when you allow a Dalit person to enter into that ring, probably he can emerge victorious, he can become a champion. And this story, the story, apart from the political subplot which Professor Lakshmanan has elaborated in a very beautiful way, but I was also seeing that film as an arrival of a Dalit hero which does not see himself as a burden by the social value, but somewhere wanted to enter into that particular domain and emerge victorious, emerge as a champion. So I particularly see Sarpatta as a kind of a trained breaker within the larger Dalit heroism that is now emerging significantly. But Sarpatta somewhere breaks the trend. Sarpatta emerges as a sports film where the individual ability and the capacity of the Dalit person to become a champion, if he gets opportunity to play the game. If the game is not allowed to him, if he's barricaded and there are obstacles to play the game, then there is no point. Dalits cannot become a champion, and therefore that particular domain of the game becomes a new metaphor, which suggests that somewhere if Dalit enters into any game with their passion, with their commitment, with their raw deal, they can win that particular game and can emerge victorious. I think this message, this significance of this particular film, I think make a distinct rupture from the earlier generation of Tamil hero films, or even for that matter, Hindi film. And therefore, I treat Sarpatta as a sport film, where the Dalit character is so innocent, so wonderful, and such a powerful character that just that getting that opportunity makes him such champion. And I think that is a significant part of Sarpatta. Just to kind of conclude, which I started, that of course all these films like Hindi, the film that I just suggested, or in Tamil films that we are now seeing, these are also individual stories. These are also stories of individual struggles to achieve something in their lives, achieve through multiple against multiple social obstacles and violence, the social violence. The Dalit is struggling in that particular forum, and therefore you'll find that the politics always become a peripheral identity in that particular story. Like as Professor Lakshmanan also suggested, that the political imaginations are always peripheral. They have some kind of a what you call a critical or a sarcastic tone in that, the way we look into politics. Sarpatta does that sarcasm in a very significant way. So somewhere the political space is always peripheral in most of our stories, the Dalit stories that are now being coming up. What I am trying to suggest is that the Dalit cinema should not only be about the individual aspirational role in mainstream life, but it is also about the Dalit political aspiration that has not come up in a bigger way. Like in Maharashtra, the Panthers or the Dalit political leaders, or even for that matter, the significant contribution of Ambedkar as a iconic personality. You will not find that the Dalit political imagination are now presented in cinema. The Dalit political leaders or activists or social activists, or those who are working with the Dalit ideology, those those characters or those people are significantly absent on the screen, and what we see are mostly those characters which are struggling in their non-political life. They are basically a vagabond or free beings that do not have much to do with the political language or political movement of the Dalits, including Sarpata for that matter. He is an excellent boxer, but you will not find that he is suggesting some kind of a Dalit political vision in his fight. He's just an achiever in that particular film, and therefore the absence of the Dalit political character in cinema, one has to kind of reflect on that why the Dalit political position, the independent Ambedkarite Dalit position is not significantly portrayed on screen. Why there is a kind of a neglect of the Dalit Ambedkarite character on screen. And therefore, when yesterday Surya's film is announced, and the name of film is Jai Bhim, I was very glad that at least there is a political message that is now portrayed, not in a subtle or in a backhand way, but in a direct way, the way Malcolm X was made in Hollywood, for that matter. So I was expecting that this very, very promising genre, Dalit film genre, which has now been established by these three significant and most important film directors, Paranjit, Vetrimaran, and Selvaraj. The way they are basically grooming this particular genre should develop in a much better and significant manner. And the politics, Dalit politics per se, the identity question per se, the Ambedkarite aura in general should also reflect in the coming times. I'm absolutely glad that I got this opportunity. Thank you to Professor Lakshman for asking me to speak on this occasion. And let's celebrate this film and hope many more such films will be there in the future, and we will become part of what we call the Dalit cinema genre. Thank you very much. Jai Bhim.